it's Kara again, your eating disorder expert. In this video, I will be explaining the different types of eating disorders.
Let's start with anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa is an eating disorder that can include some or all of the following symptoms, which are characterized by a loss of menstrual period, dieting regardless of one's weight, claiming to feel fat when not being overweight, frequently weighing oneself, having a preoccupation with food, calories, nutrition, and/or cooking, denying feelings of hunger, exercising excessively, constantly feeling cold, wearing baggy, layered clothing to hide their body, or revealing clothing to show weight loss, engage in strange food-related or eating behaviors, complain about feeling bloated or nauseated when eating what most people would consider to be appropriate amounts of food, have intermittent episodes of binge eating, become defensive when confronted about weight loss.
Anorexia can affect people of all ages, races, genders, sexual orientations, and ethnicities. You cannot tell if someone has anorexia just by looking at them. Someone does not have to be emaciated or underweight to be struggling.
In anorexia nervosa's cycle of self-starvation, the body doesn't get the essential nutrients that it needs to function properly, so it's forced to slow down all of its processes to conserve energy, which results in serious medical consequences. The body is fairly resilient and will attempt to cope with the stress of eating disorder behaviors as best as it can. This means that sometimes lab tests may look stable even if someone's at high risk of dying. Electrolyte imbalances can kill without warning, and so can cardiac arrest. So it's incredibly important to understand the many ways that eating disorders affect the body. Bulimia nervosa. Bulimia nervosa is a serious, potentially life-threatening eating disorder characterized by a cycle of binging and making up for it by purging. Bulimia can include some or all of the following symptoms: an excessive concern about one's weight, strict dieting followed by binge eating periods, which is a consumption of large quantities of food, especially high-calorie foods, in a short period of time, and eating past fullness. Frequent overeating, especially when distressed. Expressing guilt or shame about eating. Use of laxatives or vomiting to control weight, which is also known as purging. Disappearing or going to the bathroom after meals. Feeling out of control. Having depressive moods. Binge eating disorder. Binge eating disorder, also known as BED, is characterized by recurring episodes of eating large quantities of food, very often quickly and to the point of discomfort. The person also has a feeling of loss of control during the binge. They experience shame, distress, or guilt afterwards. They may steal or hoard food in strange places, and create a lifestyle schedule to make time for binge sessions. This is the most common eating disorder in the United States. Orthorexia. Orthorexia has not officially been called an eating disorder diagnosis, but it is a trend that we're currently seeing. The term orthorexia means obsession with proper or healthy eating. It's fine to be aware of what you're eating and eat quality foods, but those with orthorexia take this to an extreme, to a point where they can actually damage themselves. You might see someone cutting out an increasing number of food groups from their diet. For example, all sugar, all carbs, all fats. An increase in concern about healthy ingredients, and an inability to eat anything outside of narrow food groups that they consider healthy. They may have an unusual interest in the health of what others are eating, or obsessively follow food and healthy lifestyle blogs on social media. Body image concerns may or may not be present with this disorder. Health consequences of orthorexia. Like anorexia, orthorexia involves restriction of the amount and variety of foods eaten, making malnutrition likely. Therefore, the two disorders share many of the same physical consequences. Body dysmorphic disorder. Body dysmorphic disorder, also known as BDD, is when someone obsesses over a real or imagined flaw in their appearance. An individual with BDD cannot see themselves accurately. They may be thin, but see an overweight person in the mirror. However, when they look at other people, they can see them as they truly are. They might show an extreme concern over a blemish or fixate on a specific part of their body. This obsession can get to a point where it interferes with someone's social, emotional, or educational life. It can lead to a constant negative mindset and low self-esteem. This disorder is highly linked to suicide. People with BDD tend to develop a dependency on behaviors that become obsessive to deal with the anxiety they are facing. What you might see with someone who's suffering from BDD includes ritualistic behaviors to confirm their perceived physical flaw, which can include constant checking in the mirror, also known as body checks, touching, measuring, or actively avoiding the specific area of the body that they are obsessing over and attempting to hide that flaw from being recognized by others by covering that area of the body with clothing, makeup, or tattoos. Have a constant need for reassurance. Spend a long time, an hour or more, daily, on thoughts and behaviors relating to whichever flaw they are obsessing over. Having repeated visits to the dermatologist or cosmetic surgeons for correction of their perceived flaw. May pick at their skin. Shop excessively for clothing, accessories, or beauty products. Groom themselves excessively. And experience social anxiety.
Eating disorders are very painful and difficult to experience. However, there are many ways to treat them. It's not like breaking a leg, where you can clearly see the problem and put a cast on it to let it heal and get better. Emotional disorders such as these are much more difficult to experience and to treat. But with the right treatment, one can heal and get better. If you need help right now, please call the hotline below. And if you're interested in the types of treatment available, check out our next video on treatment for eating disorders.